Well, the year, 1991, the setting, a small town in upstate New York. And a young physician by the name of Bill Thomas starts a new job. His role, medical director of a nursing home where 80 residents live. With fresh eyes, Thomas begins at this new workplace and takes in his surrounds. And what he finds shocks him. Despair in every room is how he describes this place. And so he resolves to set about changing his workplace. As a physician, his first step comes pretty naturally, adjust people's medication. But that has very little effect on the place at all. So he looks a little bit more deeply, explores the issues that are going on in this place, and he hits upon an idea: animals. There's a fair bit of arm twisting involved, but he manages to convince the administrator to allow him to bring in dogs, cats, parakeets, 100 of them, a colony of rabbits, even a group of laying hens, all of them to be cared for by the residents. The results are nothing short of astonishing. The residents come alive. People who previously couldn't or wouldn't speak start speaking. People who never ventured out of their room start coming out and asking if they can walk onto the dogs. All of the parakeets, all 100 of them, are adopted and named by the residents. The use of drugs in the place drops by 38%, and the death rate falls by 15%. When asked to explain the reason for this remarkable turnaround, Thomas writes, "I believe the difference in death rates can be traced to the fundamental human need for a reason to live. We all seek a cause beyond ourselves." A reason to live, found in a cause beyond ourselves. It's a universal human need, an inbuilt need for purpose, for meaning. To live for something beyond ourselves. But why? For many who are here tonight, the people that we rub shoulders with most, our colleagues, for many of them, it's perhaps our daily work. In the 80s and 90s, it was said that money is the meaning of work. And then, of course, the GFC happened, and we realised some of the futility of that. These days at work, it is said that meaning is the new money. That the chief thing that we're pursuing in our daily work is meaning, purpose, fulfilment. It's there that we're looking for our reason to live, the cause beyond ourselves that we give ourselves to. And so many workplaces, maybe even yours included, design themselves around this. Here's how the General Electric CEO, Jeff Immelt, puts it. To be a great company today, you also have to be a good company. The reason people come to work for GE is they want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to work for a company that makes a difference, a company that is doing great things in the world. Friends, there is something about that is absolutely right. It is a noble pursuit. And yet, on its own, is totally flawed. What I want to do with you this evening as we begin our second night of this conference is to explore with you the reason for living. The cause beyond ourselves that should animate all of our life, like the way that blood animates all the limbs of our body. And when we've got that right, it actually empowers us all the more to do great work that truly does love others. Work as love. John chapter 15 verse 8. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. Friends, in that one verse there is your reason for living. The cause beyond ourselves. The end for which God created the world. And it's this, the Father's glory. A life which bears much fruit for God's fame and His reputation. Now, the context of John 15 there is that it's just followed a couple of chapters where Jesus has done a fair bit of teaching about love. And now he turns to his followers in this chapter and he describes his relationship with them like this, verse 5. I'm the vine, you are the branches. Faith in me brings you into a connection with me. Like parts of a body with me as a head. Branches as part of the vine. Branches that bear much fruit. You notice in that passage there how frequently that phrase is repeated. Verse 2, bear fruit. Verse 4, bear fruit. Verse 5, bear much fruit. Verse 8, bear much fruit. But for what purpose? Well, this is to my Father's glory, Jesus says. You see, there is a foundational truth that animates all of Scripture from beginning to end. And that is that you and I have been made for God's glory. Not in the sense that we make him glorious as though he is somehow deficient without us doing that for him. No, making him glorious in the sense of displaying something of his glory to the world. Making visible the invisible. Mirroring something of what he is like. Kind of like in the way that artworks display something of their artist. About 8 years ago, my wife Carly and I were in Barcelona on holidays, and one of the things that we spent some time doing one afternoon was exploring the museum of one of Spain's most famous artists, Pablo Picasso. We spent several hours going through this museum, looking at his artwork, sort of tracing the course of his life through these paintings. And I remember stepping out into the sunshine at the end of those few hours and having this real sense that in those last few hours I'd met the man himself. And of course Picasso wasn't there, he's been dead for almost 50 years now. But there was a sense in which I felt like I had just spent a few hours with him by spending a few hours with his artworks. Just looking at them all had given me a sense of something of the man, his passions, his concerns, his interests, the things that angered him, the things that brought him joy. Friends, you and I, we are the artworks. And God is the artist. The idea being that spending a few hours in our presence, we're meant to get some idea of something of who the artist is, his passions, his concerns, his interests, the things that anger him, the things that bring him joy. As God himself declares it in Isaiah 43, bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory. That is what all humanity is made for. To display something of what the artist is like. Of course, the fall, this displaying gets distorted. But now for those who are back connected to the source, branches in the vine, bearing much fruit. We're now people again who are seeking to display, show, prove something of who he is through the fruit that we bear. Artworks displaying something of the artist. So what is the fruit that Jesus has in mind that we bear? What's the chief way that we show the world what God is like? Well, what is God like? God is love. And if you were here last night, that was the way we began the evening, looking at the God who is love. Rob reminded us how God absolutely demonstrates his love to us in the cross. But even more than that, just a demonstration of it, God in and of himself is love. He is three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who for all eternity have been in a perfect relationship of love. Three persons united in love. God is love. Our God is love. And that's what makes him glorious. And I think that understanding of who God is actually gives us some idea of the fruit that Jesus has in mind here. Now remember again the context, a couple of passages, a couple of chapters beforehand, he's been saying much about love. And in the verses that follow, 10 to 12, Jesus returns to the theme of love. And then again in verse 17, comes back to the idea of love. There's a lot of debate and dispute about what the fruit in particular Jesus might have in mind is. But I think given the context, and giving something of who the God is that we're talking about, the God who is love, I think the chief fruit that Jesus has in mind, the key means by which we show something to the world of the God who is love, is by being people who are characterised by love. That is the reason for living. The cause beyond yourself that is meant to animate every single thing you do. The entire purpose of your life. Love thy neighbour. This is to my Father's glory. Well, how then does that apply to our work? This conference thinking about work. And so what I want to do now is turn to an important way that I think this relates to our work in terms of displaying something of what the artist is like, displaying love. And that is a way of thinking about our work I'm not sure we necessarily give a lot of thought to. And that is the way in which God has designed every single act of your daily labour to be an expression of love. I wonder if you've ever thought at all about the way that different people's work loves you. I mean, just take the last 60 minutes, for example. To get here tonight, you perhaps called public transport that you neither constructed, maintained or drove. Or perhaps you drove here tonight in a vehicle that you neither mined the resources that we used to make it, you didn't put it together. Or maybe you just walked from your office tonight along a footpath that you didn't lay, which was clear of rubbish that you didn't pick up. You've had a drink this evening perhaps that you didn't brew, ferment or press in a glass that you didn't make, distribute or sell. You're sitting on chairs that you didn't construct. You're eating food that you neither planted, grew, harvested or cooked. And not to mention the lighting, the air conditioning, the engineering, the police, government, lawmakers, doctors, financial services, all of whose work has had a direct or indirect impact on you being able to sit in a room like this tonight in peace and health and in safety and listen to this talk now. Friends, in God's economy, all of that work has been an act of love towards you. Whether that was done with as the chief intent or the chief purpose of it or not, you are loved directly or indirectly by the work of hundreds, perhaps even thousands of different people every day. And in the same way, your work each day, directly or indirectly, loves hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people. That how far it stretches and reaches, or perhaps never know. See, in God's economy, all people are in caring professions. Not just the doctor who delivers a diagnosis, but also the judge who delivers a verdict, or the manager who delivers a report, or the postie who delivers a letter. All people are in caring professions. We know it's even more significant than that. Oftentimes Christians talk about the providence of God, the way that He continues to love the world today by providing for us. Here's the extraordinary thing, that God in His infinite wisdom has chosen your work and my work to be a means by which He actually continues to provide for the needs of one another. Yeah, sometimes, occasionally, God will provide food in the form of manna from heaven, but ordinarily, normally the way He does it is through yours and my work. There's a sense in which we are conduits of God's love, a channel through which His love continues to flow into the world. This is a big idea for the German reformer Martin Luther, so much so that he described us in our work as being God's hands to the world. God wanted to provide the world with milk and butter, so rather than providing it to us in a bottle or a tub, He uses your hands and mine to provide it. Luther put it like this: for God will be working all things through you. He'll be milking the cows through you and will be performing the most menial duties through you. Of what use to us would be God's provision of an udder full of milk if we were not there to milk it? As that is a high honour for your work. All work. Nothing less than the hands of God, loving people through every act of your daily labour. which potentially raises a question in the minds of some. Because if this is true of all work, then what's the difference between my work that loves people and perhaps the work of others who aren't necessarily followers of Jesus that also loves people? I recall that quote that I had at the beginning there from the GE CEO. This is what all workplaces are striving for today, making a difference in the world for others. So what's the difference between me and my colleague? I think find something of the answer back in John 15. Verse 5. Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. See, all people who are made in the image of a God who is love, can love. And that is why we can celebrate all good work that is done, regardless of who it is done by. But truly loving work, I think, can only ever be sustained over a lifetime if the branch is connected to the vine. In the same way that fruit in a fruit bowl, flowers in a vase, eventually rot and wither, disconnected from the source. Well, so it is, I think, that only those who are connected to the source are equipped with a spiritual power and an ethical framework to truly love in ways that flow out of the God who is love. If you remain in me, you will bear much fruit, but apart from me, you can do nothing. Because I think when you dig a little bit deeper beneath all that rhetoric around in workplaces today about making a difference, you actually discover something of this. That oftentimes it is spoken about in terms of not an end in itself, but a means to an end. What do I mean by that? Author Roman Krasnaric has written extensively on the topic of work, the modern workplace, and he is one of those who has really embraced this philosophy that work needs to be about making a difference for others. But Rome makes it pretty clear the purpose, the chief reason for doing this in our work, in the title of his book, called How to Find Fulfilling Work. Roman makes it perfectly clear that loving others through work, making a difference to others, is actually a means to an end. The end being self-fulfillment. So I will love, I will make a difference in work to the end that it fulfills me. But I think there's a problem with that. Because in the biblical vision of love, love is costly. Indeed, true love is actually going to oftentimes disadvantage you. You will be worse off for loving. The cross gives an example of that, doesn't it? The cost of love. And so what do I do when costly love is pitted against personal fulfillment? I can't have both. And I think that if we're disconnected from the vine, then personal fulfillment will ultimately trump costly love. The kind of costly love that disadvantages. Because often in those situations, that love is a means to an end. The end being personal or organisational fulfillment, which means that ultimately it's love that's self-serving, isn't it? Which, at the end of the day, is that really love? Now, true love, the love that will be displayed by those who are connected to the vine, will at times very often disadvantage you. It will be costly. Done ultimately for the good of another, not me, but my fulfillment. It's the kind of love that doesn't have to do. I don't need to take that on, or do that task, or train that junior, or serve that client or colleague or customer in that way. But I will. Love doesn't have to do, but love does. It's the kind of love that sees a job through to the end, even once everyone else has given up. As one writer says, excellence in work is actually a form of love. On the flip side, shoddy work is not just shoddy work, it's a failure of love. It's the kind of love that looks for opportunities to enhance the loving service that their overall business provides. As an end in itself, profit becomes merely a means of doing more loving. As one writer sums it up, when we work, not to get what we can from others, but rather to love them. We're harmonising with the heart of God himself. Or in other words, we're bearing the true fruit of love, showing the world something of what the artist is like. So what's the difference between my work and the work my colleagues do? Well, nothing if your purpose is personal fulfillment. But that's not your purpose, is it? It's not your reason for living, the cause beyond yourself that animates everything you do, is it? No, all of this bearing the fruit of love, that this is to my Father's glory, isn't it? Which means I can truly love him and even be disadvantaged by my loving of them. Because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm not loving them for myself. On the Sunday afternoon just gone, I was in the lounge room at home with my 4-year-old daughter Jemima. She was building some Lego and I was trying to quietly do a few jobs on my laptop. And she saw me and said with a slight note of accusation in her voice, "You're not working, are you, Dad?" At which point I sort of quickly shut the laptop and fumbled out some sort of answer. But then a conversation began about the purpose of work and the reason of work and the nature of work. A 4-year-old and the opportunity to talk about the theology of work, I say bring it on. And we got chatting. And I made the comment to her, I said, "John, you're a worker too, aren't you?" To which she responded, "I don't work, Daddy." You see, in her mind, work is something that you get paid to do, which is actually how a lot of us think about work. It's only that activity which is remunerated. So I thought, no, I'll push back on this. Work is much bigger than just activity that you go away and get paid for. I said, what is it you're doing then when you put your plates off the table at the end of dinner? What is it you're doing when you're putting your shoes away in the cupboard or helping putting the groceries away after shopping? Or what is it you're doing then if it's not work, when you pack away all your toys at the end of the day? And she paused for a moment and said, "Well, that's not work, Daddy. That's just helping people." Precisely. That's not work you're doing necessarily. It's helping people. It's loving people. Work as love. Bearing the fruit of love. Being the hands of God himself to the world. And so through it all, showing the world something of what the artist is like, to a world that doesn't necessarily want to hear anything of him. They can't escape seeing something of him. God who is love. And so might it be with all of your work. This is not for myself. No, this is for my Father's glory. Amen.